Every year we see rookies help people win fantasy football championships. Yes, they might not have played in the NFL yet, but that's what drives their price down in drafts and helps you find potential values. Today, I'm going to give you 5 rookies in this class that I believe could be league winners here in 2023, and you can draft them at pretty relatively good prices. Do me a favor, I have a like goal of 100 likes on this video. Can you help me get there? Go ahead, be a friend, help the channel grow. Okay, the first rookie that I'm gonna bring to you that I believe could be a league winner is wide receiver Zay Flowers. He looked fantastic versus the Commanders in that preseason game. Of course, we don't want to put too much stock into a preseason game, but you could see all of the skill sets on demand. The twitchy feet, the route running, what he can do after the catch, the elusiveness. You saw all of that in the preseason. We've been seeing it all throughout camp. Reports have been high on him. I'm projecting that he is likely to lead this offense, receiving core outside of Mark Andrews. On Underdog, he's ranked as a wide receiver 40. In Sleeper, his ADP is wide receiver 46. And in ESPN, he's a wide receiver 48. I currently have him ranked as my wide receiver 42. And I think I could see that going up as we get closer to the season. But Zay Flowers is a fantastic prospect. Let's talk about what he did in college firstly. His college career dominator rating is 36.1%. That's in the 73rd percentile. He's been putting up huge numbers for a long time. He was a first-round pick for the Ravens this year. He is the only first-round wide receiver from Boston College ever. And that has a lot to do with the philosophy of Boston College. They just don't throw the ball all that much. They don't recruit wide receivers like other colleges. But we have a potential elite route runner. The footwork is absolutely next level. You heard some people in the pre-draft process say he looks a little bit like Antonio Brown at times. In my pro comps, I said he looked a little bit like T.Y. Hilton and Eddie Royal, if you guys remember. But obviously the ceiling is there. People can see the Antonio Brown type of footwork when he comes off the line of scrimmage. Twitchy guy, electric after the catch, can truly be in the next couple of years one of the best after the catch players. But not only do we have a talented wide receiver who's a first round pick stepping into an offense without a clear leader in the receiving room, we have a new offensive coordinator in Baltimore. Todd Monken is going to do wonders for this wide receiver room. Last year, no team ran fewer three wide receiver sets, than the Baltimore Ravens. All signs are pointing towards that completely changing under Todd Monken. They brought in Zay Flowers, brought in OBJ to complement a healthy Rashad Bateman, and in the preseason, they are running a ton of wide receiver three wide receiver sets. Both Lamar Jackson and the staff have vocalized that they will be much more heavy in the passing game this year. More targets is great for Zay. More targets, more opportunities to score you fantasy points. In my projections, I had the Ravens going from 503 passing attempts last year to almost 600 this season, which isn't unreasonable at all because they actually did that in 2021. I think I'm being almost modest in my projections, but I see Zay Flowers taking 18% of the target share at minimum. I think it could be more, meaning he could hover around 105 to 110 targets in his first year. And you might be sitting there and saying, 18% of the target share as a rookie? That's unrealistic, Zach. Well, it really isn't, I promise you. Let's look at the average target share percentage for first-round wide receivers in their rookie season in the last 3 seasons. You can see 2020 to 2021, Drake London had the highest target share of any rookie in that time span, but you can see a very large list of players, and on average, 18.1% of the target share for those players. With how efficient this offense is going to be, with how dynamic the playmakers are, I could see Zay have a fantastic rookie season. And if OBJ sustains an injury, if Rashad Bateman gets injured again, I mean, this could be a true league winner. Hey, if you're looking for an advantage on your fantasy leagues, if you want databases, if you want draft guides, if you want rankings, if you want articles, a way to get ahead of your league, then go ahead and use our code LAND, L-A-N-D, when signing up to the Flock Fantasy website. I truly believe this is the best package of fantasy advice you can find on the internet. So, second rookie that I believe could help people win leagues. You probably know this guy, so we won't spend as much time. Jahmyr Gibbs. ADP right now is hovering from RB10 to RB14. So he definitely has some respect on his name. My rankings, I have him as my RB11. If anything, I want this take to encourage you to feel comfortable drafting him where he's currently being drafted at. The draft capital the Lions used for him says so much. They spent the 12th overall pick in the NFL draft on Jahmyr Gibbs. What does that tell me? That tells me that they don't see just a running back. They see someone who could truly be a weapon that they could build their offense around. Historically, running backs that have been drafted with this kind of capital have been superstars in their rookie seasons for fantasy football. Let's have a look at this. What I did for you guys, I dove deep into a bag. I looked at from 2012 to 2022, a 10-year span, a decade span. I looked at the entire first round. I looked at where a player was picked in the first round and where they finished in fantasy, and you can see the results are very good. Names like Doug Martin, Trent Richardson, Todd Gurley, Zeke Elliott. We've got Saquon Barkley. We've got Josh Jacobs. You know, names like Najee Harris, for example. So there's a lot of good sample sizes here. First round, and then if we actually take it a step further and look at first round rookie running backs who were top 12 picks, which is the capital that Jahmyr Gibbs had, all of these guys finished top 15. All running backs drafted in the top 12 in the NFL draft in their rookie seasons for the past decade have finished top 15 at the position. If you want to look at the averages for a top 12 pick, the average is RB7 on a season. If you look at the entire first round, it averages around RB17. 60% of first round running backs finish top 15. And if you're in a PPR format in particular, you should feel very, very confident in Jahmyr Gibbs. He could be the next PPR star. Gibbs could be waiting in the wings here. I mean, think about it. Who is going to take targets away from Jahmyr Gibbs in this offense? Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to dominate target share. I'm in love with Jameson Williams, but he's out at least 6 games. So I'm currently projecting Jahmyr Gibbs to have 15% of the target share as a rookie, which would give him about 90 targets in his rookie season. Here are the running backs, I'll list them for you, that had 90 or more targets in 2022 last year. Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. That's it. In a PPR format, Jahmyr Gibbs should feast on a weekly basis. All right, the third rookie that I think could absolutely dominate. If you've seen my Guys video, you will know that I'm about to talk about him. He is a My Guy this year, Jordan Addison. His ADP is ranging from wide receiver 37 to wide receiver 43 across all the big platforms. I have him ranked as my wide receiver 25. I know that might seem aggressive, but give me a second to explain why I believe it will happen. Firstly, he's going to have a very important role in this offense. Wide receiver 2 was a huge need for this team. They addressed it in the draft while Adam Thielen walks in free agency to the Panthers. He leaves behind 107 vacated targets. Last year, even with Adam Thielen on the team, nobody could take the coverage away from Justin Jefferson. And towards the end of the season, we consistently saw defenses double teaming Justin Jefferson or adding a safety over the top. It was really harmful to their offense, and they needed to find someone who is a dynamic route runner that the defense would need to focus on as well. So now Jordan Addison enters, one of the best route runners in the class, great in one-on-one opportunities, is going to smoke whatever cornerback you put on him. These guys are going to eat on opposite sides of each other in this offense. And the Vikings offense is the perfect offense for a wide receiver to be a part of. There will be instant opportunities. Under Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings have been one of the league's pass happiest offenses, right, across the entire league. In fact, last year, only 2 teams threw the ball more than them per game. That's the Bucs and the Chargers. Those 2 teams had 2 very good wide receivers in fantasy. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. And only 3 teams had more passing yards per game, by the way. The Bucs, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. Kevin O'Connell is absolutely establishing his system. It's already been established. Not only were they one of the league's, highest volume pass offenses last year, think about what they did this offseason. They needed so much help on defense, and in the draft, they drafted a first-round wide receiver. They let go of their franchise running back in Dalvin Cook. All signs point to this being a factory for fantasy football in Minnesota. And keep in mind, this is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Last year, only the Lions gave up more yards per game to opposing offenses. they didn't really get that much better this offseason, in my opinion, defensively. Yes, they added Byron Murphy, but they lost an important defensive tackle in Dalvin Tomlinson, and they traded away Zadarius Smith. I currently have the Vikings statted out to be a top 10 total offensive team when it comes to the amount of plays that they will see, and I have them third in passing attempts per game. If Jordan Addison can hover around the 20% target share mark, he will have a huge year and be a huge value in drafts. Kirk is going to sling it all over the field. And excuse me, honestly, he's going to have to for them to win games this year. Okay, the fourth rookie that I believe could help people win leagues. How about Quentin Johnston out of TCU, first round pick for the Chargers. Right now, he is the cheapest of most of these guys. He's hovering around, wide receiver 41 to wide receiver 49 in ADP. He is my wide receiver 43. But look at the offense that Quentin Johnston is joining. Everything I just said about Jordan Addison, is almost mirrored for a guy like Quentin Johnston. Last year, the Chargers were second in passing attempts per game, and they also had the fifth fewest rushing attempts per game. Think about this team's strengths and weaknesses, okay? What are some strengths? Austin Eckler, super efficient through the air, really inefficient on the ground. They're probably going to pass the ball a lot to him. Justin Herbert, a budding young superstar. They're probably going to have him funnel the offense through all these receiving options. Your wide receiver core, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston. Now you add the pass-friendly offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. I'm projecting this team to throw the ball more than any other team in the NFL this year. 720 pass attempts on the season is what I'm giving them, which, by the way, if you think it's impossible, they've already done it. They've already hit that number before under Justin Herbert's era. So with that volume, everyone in this offense can eat and can be good for fantasy and get a piece of this pie. If you think about it, if we just give Quentin Johnston 15% of the market share, which we've talked about how much of the target share that rookie receivers demand in their first year, we've talked about that on this video, give him 15%, he could be hovering around 100 targets and just under 1,000 yards. And that is if all of his teammates are healthy. Imagine if Mike Williams or Keenan Allen were to suffer significant injuries. This is a player at that time that you start every single week in your lineup. So don't miss out on some Quentin Johnston. Don't miss out on some rookies, because every year they are valued really well in drafts, and a lot of people who win championships have those rookies on their team. The last player, which I will just make an honorable mention for today's video, because I have created an entire video around this player already just for him, is Anthony Richardson. Mobile quarterbacks typically are the ones that are getting you into the playoffs and putting up huge ceilings on a weekly basis. So if you want to see why I believe Anthony Richardson is a fantastic value in drafts this year, and he could be a potential league winner, then go ahead and watch the video that I released on this page. I'll try and link it somewhere so you guys can see it. But it's about, go give that a watch. I think it's broken down in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, where I talk about him alone and the history of quarterbacks like him. So thanks for watching. Do me a massive favor, drop a like on the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and draft some rookies. At their ADP, I don't think you're going to regret it. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy, even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.